I'm going to show you some different activities to practice phonological awareness with your child. So phonological awareness is basically the understanding of how words work and how to manipulate these words. And this is really essential in helping your child become a successful reader and writer. By the time they get to middle of the year, second grade, they should really have mastered all of these skills. So these skills start off pretty basic and then they get a little bit more complex. So as I'm explaining them to you, we'll start off with the simplest and then move on to the most complex. And these are really activities you don't need any materials for. You could do in the car, on your way driving to go get dinner, on your way to the grocery store, or wherever. And so to start off, the most basic of phonological awareness is identifying rhyming words. So you would start with giving your child 2 words. So you could say, okay, do cat and sat, do those words rhyme? Once they have been successful at identifying whether or not those words rhyme, then you give them a word and ask them to find a word that rhymes. So you could say, okay, the word is frog. Can you tell me a word that rhymes with frog? After rhyming, the next skill is being able to isolate sounds within a word. So we'll start with initial sounds and then move to the final sounds. And then last, we'll do the medial sounds in a word. So for identifying initial sounds, one of the ways that we practice this in the classroom is we make our hand into a roller coaster and we'll say a word and then identify the initial sound. So if I say the word lizard, we'll say lizard and then say l. Next, to move on to identify final sounds, we'll say a word and we pull our hand across our body and punch it into the air. So if the word is outside, we'll say outside, and they'll be able to hear that the d is the final sound. Next, we'll work on identifying medial sounds. So these are the middle sound of a word. So again, we'll take the roller coaster and identify what sound is in the middle. So for the word jump, we would say jump, and they would hear that the is in the middle of the word. After that, we work on blending and then segmenting. So for blending, I take a word and then I break it apart and they just simply need to blend it back together. So I might say the word is n-o-z, and then they would guess that the word is nose. After blending, then we do segmenting. Segmenting is basically just the opposite of blending. So the word, if the word is fish, then they take it and they would chop it into parts. So they could say fish. After we have blended and segmented, the next skill is just manipulating phonemes in a word. These are just the smallest sound portion within a word. So we'll start with phoneme addition. So one of the ways that we do this in the classroom is I say, okay, the word is eat, and we take our hands and then we'll just physically add that sound. So the word is eat, add a f, and they'll say the word is feet. After adding phonemes, the next step is deleting phonemes. So if the word is sink, we would say, okay, so have the word sink, say sink without the s, and then they would be able to figure out that the word is ink. After that, the last and most challenging piece of phonological awareness is substituting sounds. So you'll give them a word and then they'll just substitute a sound. So if I say, okay, the word is lamp, change the l to a r, and they would be able to tell you that the new word is ramp.